people would die. And in the Holocaust, the Nazis set up a regime of systematic murder, killing more than 6 million Jews. Today, a monument in Berlin remembers the Jews murdered under Hitler. But not everyone approves of it, like Germany's best-known far-right politician, the leader of the AfD party in Thuringia, Björn Höcke.
We Germans, our people, are the only people in the world to have planted a monument of shame in the heart of its capital.
Nigga, what? It's like a fucking museum dedicated to like Native American fucking extinction, nigga. Don't deny it. It's like systematic destruction of them niggas.
We will take back our Germany bit by bit.
What's about to happen, nigga? Oh my gosh, y'all, some fucking bums, dude. Holy shit. Get my dog.
Now has seats in nearly all the state parliaments and the federal parliament. During elections in 3 eastern German states in September 2024, the party got around 1/3 of the vote. Thuringia actually got its first AfD district administrator more than a year earlier.
The Sonneberg district has made history. The AfD is now a mainstream party here in the region, in Thuringia and in Germany as a whole.
Sonneberg was a stronghold of the National Socialists in the early 1930s. So comparisons are bound to be made. And perhaps there could be something like a right-wing political culture that has remained more or less underground. But I think the analogy should not be overstated. Because I would say that the AfD's electoral wins are taking place in a different society. It's reflected in the demonstrations against the far right in many cities in Thuringia, in Jena and Erfurt, but also in Weimar and other smaller cities. So this civil society that established itself after German reunification needs to be taken into account.
One man who's been observing political developments in Germany all his life is Gerhard Baum. He was born in 1932 and grew up under the Nazis. He was Germany's interior minister in the late 1970s and early 80s and had to deal with the left-wing terror group, the Red Army faction. How do you see the current shift to the right in Germany?
Throughout my long life, I've never seen such a concentration of problems and threats as we have now. There have always been extremes. There have always been extremists. But there has never been such a concentration of racists. And that is the difference between people who hold extreme opinions and those who represent an aggressive form of racism. That is the hallmark of the far-right AfD party and others in this country. The growth of the right wing and right-wing extremism is by no means limited to the AfD. It's present in wider society. It is also present in the middle classes. And this fundamental belief that the people need to be defended, and some are presumptuous enough to define who the people are, this is absolutely against the Constitution. The Constitution states that the dignity of every human being that lives here must be protected. And anyone who negates that, like the AfD, is acting, as the Constitutional Court has ruled, like the Nazis.
It's quite clear, as National Socialists, we've been living under a ban since 1945. If we can't do anything in a straightforward way, at a normal parliamentary level, because they won't let us, then we have to take a roundabout way. This includes creating front organizations or using the democratic mechanisms available to become a political force in this country.
This archive footage is from the 1980s. Here, neo-Nazis in the central German state of Hesse were quite open about their desire to turn back the clock to 1933, using democratic mechanisms just like the Nazis did.
Ein dreifachkräftiger Sieg! Heil! Sieg! Heil! Sieg! Heil!
On election night in Frankfurt at 3 p.m, shortly before the deadline, Michael Kühnen submitted the 186 signatures of support and certificates of eligibility needed to stand. Formally at least, the Nationale Sammlung Party, or NS, has met the criteria for running in the local elections in Frankfurt. Its list name, Foreigners Out.
Ausländer raus.
Giving a Hitler salute is illegal in Germany. They called it a Kühnen salute instead. Michael Kühnen was a leading neo-Nazi in West Germany in the 1980s.
Comrades, so long as you don't allow yourselves to be stopped, we'll be unstoppable. And I'll be unstoppable as long as you have faith in me. But in the end, there will be a revolution, and it'll be more radical than last time.
In 1989, the small town of Langen near Frankfurt suddenly found itself at the center of the far-right movement. The neo-Nazis wanted Langen to become the first city in Germany without any non-German residents. Sascha Schmidt has researched the history of right-wing extremism here in southwestern Germany. What approach did they take here?
Basically, they sought publicity. So they handed out leaflets, organised information stands, and above all, tried to raise doubts in people's minds with their very racist tirades. Kühnen was very media savvy, a pro in that respect. And he knew very well that if he went public with his provocative ideas, he would get a media response. And otherwise, they repeatedly tried to cause unrest on the streets.
How successful was Kühnen with his approach?
In terms of the publicity he was able to achieve, very. He never succeeded with his election lists. He stood here in the local elections once with his Nationale Sammlung under the slogan, "Implement the will of the people, foreigners out." That never worked. But that wasn't his goal. He wasn't expecting to make it into parliament with the small numbers they had. They basically used the elections or election campaigns to gain publicity, and in that they were successful.
So they weren't trying to field the next mayor of Langen. The goal was just to get as much attention as possible.
Exactly. They were hardline Nazis. They weren't interested in parliamentary democracy. They ultimately wanted to abolish parliament. The aim of this group was always to rebuild the Nazi party. They saw themselves as the new SA stormtroopers. They openly denied the Holocaust and were extremely violent.
Denied the shit?
After German reunification, they
You
also
want to
moved
take
into
credit?
East Germany.
Hundreds of supporters of Germany's foremost neo-Nazi Michael Kühnen marched through Dresden at the end of October. He still mobilizes the most followers, despite spending years in prison and in spite of infighting within his movement. Reunification has given him